Coming off of what Tom just said, there are different types of libertarians. And commonly when we talk about the different types of libertarians, you'll think radical versus pragmatic, or anarchist versus minarchist. Coming back to the surface again, because all things happen over and over. Right versus left libertarians. And one that's not talked about a lot, but I had heard about first probably 13 years ago, is the differentiation between the philosophers, the leaders, the candidates, and the activists. And so there are many permutations and labels that we can put upon ourselves. And the question is, what are the differences, right? Radical versus pragmatic, pretty well defined, right? Radicals, no compromise; pragmatic, compromise. Easy enough. Anarchist versus minarchist, right? Anarchist, no government at all. Minarchist, EB government. And both, I would say, have some logical flaws, and there is no perfect system, but we're not going to argue that tonight. Right versus left. Right versus left is often a matter of where someone came from. So if someone came from the Democratic side or was brought up in a Democratic household, they'll probably tend to lean left. And likewise, if someone came from the Republican side or was raised in a Republican household, they'll tend to lean right. And the right side tends to focus on the fiscal issues, the left side tends to focus on the social issues. The one that doesn't get spoken about very often is the four types I mentioned before. There's the leader, right? The leader is party leadership. It's about organization and patience. Oh dear Lord, the patience required to be a party leader. Candidates, right? Candidates are about charisma, the ability to do public speaking, being involved in the community. The activist is the street theater person, right? When something bad is being pushed, they're the ones out with a sign saying, hell no, no way, right? And they also are very good, typically petitioners, literature distribution, those types. And then there are the philosophers, the guys that sit in the back room and they think about stuff and they come up with different thoughts on the ways libertarianism gets applied in some strange far-off scenario. Now, all of these types are needed. The philosopher, right? The philosopher is the intellectual core of our movement. They can often find ways to express things that are kind of inherently understood by all of us, but aren't always easy to put words to those feelings, or just can't otherwise articulate those items. And they don't usually go out in public. Usually the philosophers are behind the scenes, they come to meetings, but they very rarely run for office. They tend to be a little socially awkward, more so than the rest of us. The activist. The activist is the man on the street. They protest, they distribute literature. They're absolutely a great firewall against additional encroachments on liberty. They're the ones, as I mentioned, they're the ones with the signs and yelling and screaming outside of a courthouse. Good people. The candidate is the charismatic face that uses bumper sticker slogans to bring our beliefs, our very complicated at times beliefs, to the general masses, the people that, the people that are like, wait, what? What are you talking about? I just wanted my road. And the leader is the one that has to take all those people and organize that into something that actually works. Right versus left, this has been for a long time. I firmly believe we need both of those because it keeps balancing the party. We don't want to lean to the left. We don't want to lean to the right. We need to be balanced. Libertarianism isn't a caucus of Democrats or a caucus of Republicans. We are our own thing. And as a party, we must remain our own thing. This is absolutely key to our success. And we must remain strong and separate. And it provides incentives we need to provide incentives for our small L friends who may not quite understand what we're doing here to come over and help us grow this party. Neither the anarchists nor the minarchists are large enough in number to be their own thing. We need both groups. And basically the argument between the two is irrelevant. We're talking about 90% less government versus 100% less government. I I don't know, I'd be happy with 10% less government right now. Who's in for 10? I'm in 10%. You know, let's go. Because that's 10% better than status quo. And so the final thing I want to talk about is the radical versus pragmatic. Because this is something that is kind of resurfacing again now as well. The reality is we're all radicals. We are all radicals. It is easy to go be a Democrat. It is easy to go be a Republican. It is easy to say, I'll get in. And being somebody from Kentucky who might have a couple of people in elected office that fall into this category, I'll get in. Yeah, maybe I gotta kiss some dude's ring every 4 or 6 years and, you know, pretend like I like them, but I'll like make some little ranting speech of some sort and people will like me and re-elect me. I won't actually get anything accomplished, but yay. Right? We're here, right? We're libertarians. Why? Because we're not going to kiss the ring in the state. We're not going to kiss the ring in the state.
All right.
We are all radicals. And when we disagree, as Tom noted appropriately, it's over stupid stuff.
Yep.
God, normal people would look at this and do, by the way, look at this and they're like, what? Really? You're arguing? Okay, whatever. I'm just going to go back to driving on my road. Seriously though, we do need to stop arguing, especially externally, about the silly little things that regular people don't even think about on a day-to-day basis. We need to focus on things that are effective and will better people's lives and make them understand that our principles and our policies, if elected, will make their lives better. That's what we have to do. That's what the local guys are doing right now. There's one, I'm missing people. But anyway, that's what you're doing. You're talking, and I heard this earlier today, you're talking about how to make things better, framed in a way that regular people are, yeah, thanks, man, appreciate that. So to kind of wrap up, the one thing that I want to really emphasize, it is extremely important that we are unified as libertarians. Why? Well, we argue, and I already kind of spoiled my own speech here, we argue over the nuances of how small our ideal state would be, right? If it exists at all. And while we do this, the statists are winning. Our government is getting larger. Our rights are getting smaller. Our national debt just crossed $22 trillion. The surveillance state continues to grow. We're arguing over, in some ways you could just say, we're arguing over what way to arrange the deck chairs in one room of the Titanic.
Yeah.
We need to stop arguing over the order of the chairs and start focusing on what matters, which is stopping new encroachments on our liberty and then getting people elected to roll back with what's already happened.
Yes.
There are 5 people earlier today who said they're going to run for office. That is totally awesome. I really want to thank them because that is one big part. Any of us can go out with a sign and say, no, we need other people to go into the belly of the beast and try to get some of those rights back for us. And so I want to thank those that are planning on running for office. And I want to encourage you to consider, if you have not yet, think about running for local office. And if it's not you, think about someone who's like you, who's got the same mindset as you, who could run for local office, because it's working. It's working here in Tennessee right now. And now we just need to do a whole lot of it. Instead of 5, we need 50, we need 500. So, to wrap up, paraphrasing Morton Blackwell, you owe it to your political philosophy to win. You have 5 winners right now. Go make some more. Go win. Thank you.